Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
How are we doing?
I'm very well.
Are you all right?
I'm very well, thanks. So, I'm Allan Finnegan.
You're Allan Finnegan for the night. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great, mate. Hey, Tommy, Tom, you nugget. Hey, do, don't they? Hey.
Wow, that was impressive.
Thank you.
Steve, I thought you were just a one-liner, but you've got impersonations.
No,
obviously.
I do too sometimes.
That's very good. Well, we've got Steve in tonight. Alan's been sacked, finally. It happened.
Yes.
So Steve's trying out for his job.
Yeah. Double pay as well, Tom said.
Double pay. I mean, you get a bar. You get this is all thrown in with it. Alan is, he said too many controversial things, and now Steve's taking over.
Yeah, nice house as well.
You get the house and the bar, everything.
Say ministers don't get paid enough, but I've had a look through his house. Better than mine.
He's got lots of good stuff, hasn't he?
Yeah.
No, sadly.
Well, he did have.
He did.
Yeah, some of it's in the boot of my car now, but.
Very good. Well, tonight, welcome to Wednesday Night at Finnegan's. Alan is actually on his holidays. He's enjoying himself.
What were we saying about ministers not getting paid enough?
I know. And he's away marrying his daughter, to be fair. I think he's like...
What?
It's not
Is that legal in Liverpool?
How are you supposed to say that? He's not marrying his daughter. He's marrying her to another fella.
Yeah. I knew that.
You knew what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I think that's good then, because I think the holiday, you can probably claim that as expenses, can he, if he's doing a wedding?
Yeah, he probably will knowing Allan, yeah. He'll probably charge you for doing the service.
Very good. Let us know if you're in and watching tonight. I can see some people in. Andy Campsall's in. Nice to have you, Andy. Oh, look, Janet's in. Janet is watching all the way from sunny Cyprus. So that is where the wedding of the year is taking place. So Janet is out there as well. Alan's in. So careful. Evening, lads. Nice to see you, Alan.
Did you get your invite, Tom?
To the wedding?
Didn't get mine, yeah.
I didn't get invited to that. I think because he's hoping that I'll hold the fort while he's gone, you know.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But I think they just don't like you. I think that's why I didn't invite you.
Probably, yeah, probably.
You could have done a comedy night in the evening, though. Oh, and Joyce is watching as well. Wow, we've got the whole Finnegan gang in. We have to be on up. They are just watching to check that we don't give away any of the expensive items in the house.
Yeah, well.
They've left me with a key for 2 weeks, though, so maybe we'll have our first Finnegan's party.
Yeah. We'll have an auction, yeah. Be on eBay later.
Very good. Well, welcome to Wednesday Night at Finnegan's. I'm Tom. I'm a Baptist minister, and Steve is
not a Baptist minister.
He's not a Baptist minister.
No, definitely not.
He's managed to avoid that gig. But Steve is a stand-up comedian. He's one of the Finnegan's legends. That you've been on the show before.
I have. Yeah, my name's up there somewhere.
You're on the wall. Yeah. And to be a repeat guest on the Finnegan's show, you have to be a few things. One of them is you have to live really close to where we're based.
Desperate.
And the second one is you have to be a crowd pleaser. And Steve, my kids think you are hilarious. So
they're the ones, are they?
They are the ones.
Right,
so you're in. Okay. You're back in and first time co-hosting.
Yeah,
how are you feeling about it?
Probably last.
Probably last.
You know, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
We'll see.
Yeah. Alan's told me I've got to push the boundaries just so we can watch Tom sweating as to what I'm going to say next. So,
if you watched Finnegan's last week, we had Tony Vino on, who was a fantastic guest, but he did do a bit of blue at one point, and
shocking.
I think the internet connection got all dodgy because it was raining. So I was hoping that I'd kind of like gone for that bit that Jesus had saved us, but I'm not sure. I think the swear bear did get out there.
Dear me.
So
I hope you find him.
Maybe. But tonight we've got Sam Ward with us from the Message Trust. He won't be effing and jeffing. I'm confident of that.
Yeah. I've never heard of him. So
that was the thing that happened last week with Tony Vino. Is that we do a competition each week, and the person with the best comment wins a prize, and we've got a great prize tonight. But Carolyn, who was watching, I don't think she even realised she just meant it matter of factly.
Right.
But she asked at one point, "Who is Tony Vino? I've never even heard of him." And Tony just felt totally devastated. Spending years working.
Lots of people have asked that question.
They have. Sure. But he was good. He was good, Tony Vino. So if you haven't seen last week's episode, then make sure you go and check it out. You can get that wherever you find your podcast. You can find Wednesday Night at Finnegan's, and Tony Vino will be on there. Also, a previous guest, Mark Williams, he was telling me this week that someone found him from his work on TikTok. He's not even on TikTok.
Right.
And one of his little clips from the podcast, they managed to find it.
It's great to know that you're pushing other people's careers.
I know. That's it. See what we can do for you tonight, Steve.
Yeah, you never know.
How many views did you get on YouTube? Like
I don't
20
know.
billion. You just don't stop going on about it.
I know.
But
you go on about it. all the time. I think there's a bit of underlying jealousy.
There definitely is, but we might
not
be
very
able to,
underlying either.
we might be able to get you a couple of hundred more tonight, mate. So
Yeah.
there you go. It's 10 o'clock apparently in Cyprus, 10 o'clock at night. Well, let us know if anyone's listening from further afield than Cyprus. And let's have a look. Hello from, oh, here we go. Here we go. So we've got Leonard in, and Leonard is watching from Fortaventura. So he's one of Ray's mates. So it's good to have you with us, Leonard. That is, if I knew geography, and I don't, I could tell you which was further away, Fortaventura or...
No idea.
Do you have any ideas? Cyprus.
You've got more viewers overseas than you've got in Liverpool, I think.
Yeah, we have. No one's
It's
watching.
an international audience.
Leonard says he sounds like Sid Little. That must be you. Or is that me? Who said that's an old person, Sid Little, isn't it?
It is, yeah, so it must be me.
It must be.
Yeah.
You can find Steve.
I know I don't look it, but I am older than Tom.
You are quite a bit older than me, I think. You could be my dad, probably. Do you think?
We don't want to start any rumours.
Anyway, hello, Josh. Josh is in as well. Nice to see you, Josh, my friend. Good to have you with us. So, give us a little like and a share if you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. Give us a little like. That'll help your friends know that it's all happening down at Finnegan's tonight.
It is,
And,
yeah.
you know, they can come and join us for the evening in the bar. Tonight, we've got, like I've said, we've got Sam Ward from the Message Trust. He's going to come and join us. He is a legend. He's one of my good friends, and he's very kindly said he'd come down and do this tonight. So we're very fortunate to have him. We're also going to do Finnegan's Fortunes. Allan's away. So when we do Finnegan's Fortunes, the gift, like what the prizes on offer always go up, because I feel like I can give away things that he wouldn't normally be willing to give away. So
Right, okay.
the TV will be in the mix today, and maybe even Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah.
We could give him away.
Weekend break at Allan's.
A weekend break here in the
Yeah,
bar.
hot tub included.
The hot tub included. And yeah, so who knows what we could give away. That will happen later. And also we have got Nugget of the Week. Now this is exciting. So Nugget of the Week, if you are our Nugget of the Week, then not only do you win yourself some of this, some of Home Bargain's best nougat, but also tonight you're going to win yourself one of these fantastic. They've come over with Sam from the Message Trust, one of their higher snapbacks. That's what that's called. Did you know that was called a snapback,
No,
Steve?
I didn't know.
Get that on for a second, mate. Show it off. You're going to win one of those. Not only that, but you're also going to win yourself one of these. Let's have a look. Message Trust higher t-shirt. It's not a t-shirt, is it? It's got long arms. You've got it on. That's not how they do
That's
it anymore.
how the kids were,
No,
Tom.
not anymore. Honestly,
Ah, okay.
like that.
Thanks.
So you're going to win
I look
one.
like a trucker.
You're going to win one of those
I did
and one of
say,
those.
yeah.
Hold that up. Go on.
Okay, all right. What's me about? Just
You
'cause
look
I'm a
like you could
newbie.
be in a band now, in a message band. They
Yeah.
might sign you up.
Yeah, he's 17. I'm probably about the same age, to be fair.
Probably. But so, if you want to win any of those prizes tonight, all you need to do is give us your best comment. So, as the night goes on, if you want to give Steve some stick, that's encouraged. If you want to give me some stick, that's okay. If you want anything funny, if you throw it up in the comments and it tickles us, we have a little chuckle
How
about
long
it.
are you expecting me to sit here
Just-
like this?
Just for a while.
Okay.
There you go. You look all right. You look all right
yeah,
in that.
thanks.
So anything like that, if you throw it up in the comments and you are the one we choose as our Nugget of the Week, then we're going to send you that in the post. Let's have a look who's commenting. What's Josh saying here? Ministers get paid a lot. It's okay. You can take it off now.
Thanks.
Ministers get paid a lot. Have you seen the bar he bought? The building is massive. It's a big bar. It's a big bar. Chris is here. Pete is painting in his house. I'm at home making pumpkin soup for my class. Wow, rock and roll. Rock and roll, Chris. That's amazing. Alan's not happy if we're taking Klopp. He's saying we're not allowed to do that. Tao saying don't accept gifts from Tories. So have you picked up on this, that Alan's trying to spread the rumour that I'm a Tory?
I have heard about it, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
It's a high level of political sort of discourse that happens at Finnegan's,
Yeah.
which
yeah.
kind of is
I believe
basically
so, yeah.
them all calling me Tory.
Obviously,
So-
you decided not to the week that I was here. But
No, we didn't. Are you? No, we can't get into that. We can't get into it. Oh, look, here we go. Emma said that cap has doubled the height of your head, Steve.
Thanks. Yeah, I did my hair, especially for tonight as
You're-
well, and now it's ruined.
That's in early. She's got a funny one in early. Pete, good to see you, mate. Nice to have you in. Okay, well, let's find out what we've been up to this week. I'll tell you. I'll start, Steve.
Okay.
This week, I went to see Jason Manford.
All right, yeah. Personally, or...
No, it was a comedy thing.
Right,
There was
okay,
A few
yeah.
thousand people there.
Right.
Have you ever gigged with Jason Manford?
Not yet, no, but I'll keep trying.
Keep trying. One day. And then at the end of Jason Manford's set, he did this. Let me show you what happened at the end of Jason Manford's set. See if this will work. So this was right at the end of his set. He went into a whole bit where he got everyone to sing classic school hymns.
Yeah.
Do you know this one, Steve?
I do, yeah.
Wait for it. There's another banger about to come out. Here we go. Give me oil in my lamp.
Right, yeah. You don't think that was anything to do with the energy crisis?
Maybe.
Give me oil in my central heating. Keep me warm.
Can you believe this though? I loved it.
I think you should do this on Sunday, Tom.
We could get away with it, couldn't we?
Well, you could, yeah. You get away with anything, really. You just smile at people.
The thing that amazed me was just that, I guess it was the same at the Queen's funeral as well, but I guess...
Well, that? I didn't see that.
Well, no, not those songs. They had to make them a bit more somber, didn't they?
Yeah.
But the fact that Christianity was just under the surface there. Just like that. It's kind of, there's this history in this country, isn't there? There's the Christianity.
Absolutely.
And there's a touch there that feels like, that might just spark a bit of interest to people.
Yeah. No, definitely.
So I think people would have been singing along to that. But anyway, tonight we're going to talk a little bit of faith. We're going to share a little bit of the difference that faith has made in our lives and Sam's life. But maybe that's you. Maybe you're thinking, I'm just a little bit intrigued, a little bit, find out more. Maybe I wouldn't find myself in church, but I'd watch this nonsense with Steve and Tom
yeah.
and find out a little bit more. What else? What have you been up to this week, Steve?
A weekend we went to a country fair. I ended up watching Morris dancing, but he wasn't very good, to be honest. That was just a little joke there. I didn't really do that.
No.
But yeah, Saturday night I was watching telly, and it was like Strictly Come Dancing, or Masked Dancer.
They were your options.
That was like primetime TV. I thought, to be honest, I'm quite looking forward to a power cut. But yeah, yesterday morning I was having a shave just to get ready for work. Not my legs, my face, and I was just having a shave, and I broke wind. Are you allowed to say farted?
You are. That's okay.
Well, I just did. So
yeah, go on, carry on.
Anyway, I farted, and no word of a lie, this actually happened. The split second after it stopped, a car alarm went off outside. It was literally like Morecambe and Wise timing, sort of beep, beep, beep. And it was just like, you have those moments in your life that you think, I'm going to remember that forever. There's no coincidences with God. That's what we used to say. It was,
I think that was just a coincidence, mate.
But the timing was, it was
too much.
It was like, and I'll never forget it. So yeah, that was the highlight of my weekend.
I love it, mate. I love it.
Thank you.
I also went to see a cover band tribute act.
Okay.
Oasis.
Right.
You into Oasis?
What were they
Steve?
called? No Oasis or something.
No, close. Definitely might be.
Oh dear.
It's good,
that's
isn't it?
worse. It's not good at all. That's awful.
Has anyone ever seen a good tribute band? Do you know what? I searched for one. Blobby Williams.
Right. Okay.
Classic. I think he looks like Robbie. He's just a bit fatter.
Right. Yeah.
Classic.
Right.
Fake That.
Yeah. I've heard of them.
Fake That?
Yeah.
Classic.
I actually did a gig once at Trib Fest.
Trib Fest.
It was a festival.
Okay.
Of tribute acts. So like over a whole weekend, and they had a comedy tent as well. So yeah, that was bizarre.
Does comedy go down well at a tribute?
Well, it didn't
act
because we were outside the main stage, and they had I don't know who it was, a tribute band too, but they were blaring away on full blast and wearing a tent with like one microphone. Although quite a few acts did come in, but each day they had a different theme.
Okay.
So the theme for the day that we were there was Rocky Horror.
Nice.
So I'm stood on stage trying to tell jokes, and in the front row was about 6 guys wearing suspenders. Exactly, yeah.
So that went down
that did put me off.
That was almost as good as your gig on the cruise liner there, was it, Steve?
Well, it wasn't that bad, but it was, it wasn't far. It went quite well, but it was just a bit, I had to sort of look over their heads to the back, which is what I usually do anyway, because I don't like looking at people.
What's the best gig you've ever done, Steve? Because what would you? Is there one that stands out as being like that was hilarious? That was the one that was stand out.
Oh, it's hard to say because he did. Probably, I did a bikers rally. I've done a few bikers rallies, but I did one on Cheshire Showground. Big marquee, 2,000 bikers in.
Wow.
And you sort of think, wow, this is a scary audience. But then you realise they're all as old as me.
Yeah.
And they did the comedy in an afternoon. So they just wanted to chill out and relax.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were brilliant. And the guy who runs it, absolute nutcase. Yeah. So
2,000 bikers.
2,000 bikers, yeah.
Wow.
It was ace. It was
And
brilliant.
they loved what you did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I actually videoed it.
Have you?
So I've got it on video somewhere.
You have to send it to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
But
good.
no, that was a good one, yeah.
Fantastic. All right, well, we're going to get our guest of the week on now. So we've got Mr. Sam Ward with us for the evening. So let's give Sam a big Finnegan's welcome. How are you doing, mate? Are you all right?
Yes, thanks, mate. It's good to be here.
Thank you so much for coming to join us tonight.
No worries, man. It's good. This
Yeah.
is incredible, this place.
It's not bad, is it?
I know. It wasn't what I expected. I was expecting something a little bit noddy, but it's flipping. It's epic.
It's all right, isn't it? Just drop your mic down just a touch because we can't quite see the beautiful beard. There we go.
I thought that might be beneficial just
No.
to cover half the face.
No, we're loving that. We're loving that beard. And so Sam's in tonight. And so if you've got any questions for Sam Ward, he'll answer anything. He'll have a go.
I'll have a go.
Anything, any DIY around the house that needs doing or anything like that. He'll have a little go at it.
Yeah.
So if you've got any questions, throw them in the chat. And also remember, this is the kind of gear you could win tonight if you're our Nugget of the Week. And so I'm saying that Emma's up there first. Emma's up there at the moment to win it, partly because that means I can have this if she wins. But with her comment about your head and that hat,
Oh, so basically you're fixing it.
that could be what happens.
Yeah.
If we'll see what happens.
So if you're
but
wearing that at church on Sunday, you're going to get booed off stage.
do you know what? I mean, Sam, the Message is a pretty trendy place, isn't it, Sam? And you've been known to rock a snap.
I've
back.
never been cool, though. Even in the message, I'm miles from cool.
'Cause-
I actually can't even fit a snapback. My head is so big. When I get hats, I have to get them specially made because my bonce is so massive.
Oh, what? You have to order a particular size online because
Honestly,
this
I have
just
to get
won't
them
do it.
bespoke made, yeah.
See, the thing for me as well, I'm just going to sound old as well, is that when I was a kid, you'd get a hat like that, a bad boy like that, and you'd spend ages bending it.
Yes, mate.
And breaking that in till you get like a perfect dome
Yeah. You need an elastic strap.
for my head.
No, that's what you need.
That's what Sam needs.
Yeah.
See, I could go
Go back
toes.
to the old days.
I could go head to head with Sam. My head is massive, so that I always felt bad about like caps don't suit me, but I also have to open that up to like places it's never been before.
There you go. I was
fit
at
it on my
I was
head.
at New Wine one year, and
Yeah.
I had a snapback on the last dot at the back.
Oh.
And this woman came up to me and she said, "You've not been blessed with a head for hats, have you?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, thanks, love."
And the thing that worries me is because I'm a fella, and fellas go bald.
Yeah.
Like if you
It's
go bald, then you go to the hat, don't you? That's a lot of fellas go tos. But if I don't suit a hat, then I've got nowhere to go.
No,
I don't know what to do at that point.
no.
What have you done,
You're
Steve?
a lot further from being bald than I am.
I just have to. Being tall helps me because I can try and like stop Steve from being able
down
to
on
stare at my
people.
bald spot.
Yeah. Oh, mine's like, there's a young lad at our old church, and he said he wanted his hair like mine. I said,
Did
"What
he?
do you mean like mine?" He said, "Like a letter M."
Lesser for the
Thanks for
day.
that. So I've not
That's
spoken
kind,
to him
isn't it?
since.
No, why would you? Christians are horrible, aren't
I
they?
know, yeah. Yeah.
Sam, tell us a bit about yourself and about the Message and all that stuff.
Wow, where do you start?
I don't know,
There's so
that's
much
just-
stuff.
I've just-
That's so vague. Just tell us everything about yourself.
Yeah.
I'm such a good interviewer, Sam. I've just really set you up well there. Tell us about life.
Well, I live in Manchester, but and I know that's not going to go down too well in a place like this. I was going to bring a load of Manchester-based merchandise just to irritate you guys, but
Oh,
I didn't.
That
But
would've
I'm
been
not
good.
actually a Mancunian. I wish I was. I was actually born in the Midlands, but now live in Manchester. I'm married a Mancunian, got 2 Manky kids. So I feel like I'm almost Mancunian, and I've
Yeah.
lived in Manchester now for over 30 years. So, yeah.
do you feel like you're getting the accent a little bit? Do you feel like, because I feel like I'd love to be counted as a Scouser, but I feel like I just don't sound proper.
I mean, even the fact that you say Tom Grant
I know.
means that you can never, ever be
Nougat.
considered.
That's it. Well, the problem is, and this, basically, on this podcast, I get called Tim Brown because whenever I say Tom Grant, people think I'm saying Tim Brown. So this has happened on multiple occasions in our local when we're not down at Finnegan's, we're in the local bar, and multiple times I say Tom Grant and they just say Tim Brown, and I have to spell the word Grant out, which feels really like I'm patronising, but that's my life. But I don't sound like a Scouser, so what can I do?
No. Well,
So when you go out for a meal and they're shouting, table for Brown,
Yeah,
and you're just sat there completely oblivious.
I've just it gets to a point where you just respond. I will answer to Tim Brown now.
Right?
This is how I live my life.
that's so funny. Love it.
Chris is saying you don't want a manky kid.
No.
Your kids are beautiful though.
Yeah.
They're
I
not
mean, they are a
manky.
touch manky, and they do have the accent. You know, they are Manchester born and raised. So
Yeah. That's the thing with my kids as well. Proper, like strong Scouse accent. So if I speak to them on the phone, even now I can't quite tell which one I'm talking to of the three, which is terrible for a dad. You feel like you're letting
Especially
your
when
kids
one
down.
of them's a girl.
That's it.
But the most offensive thing, though, if you speak to Southerners and they'll ask where you're from, that the amount of people who think a Scouse accent and a Manc accent is the same. And you're like, are you mad? They sound nothing like each other, but
It's madness,
I
isn't
think
it?
it's out of it.
It
So,
is.
so when you said you was going to bring some Manc merchandise, I
Yeah.
mean, what do you class as that? Like a Parker jacket or something like that?
Well, I was actually going to bring some Manchester beers because we've got some phenomenal
right.
Manchester ales. I was thinking being in a bar and all that lot, I could
Yeah.
bring some excellent, like fine IPAs that Manchester seems to be producing. So yeah, it would have been that kind of stuff.
That would have been nice. But you brought us this gear to give
but
away.
I could have put
I mean,
I could have put a United jersey on the roof as
do
well.
you
but
know what?
Is there rules on it or not?
You would honestly, Allan would get on the next flight back and come and
Would he?
it'd kick off. I
I've got a
had
spare one.
I had a couple of Man United tops, and a City top.
Yeah. They give them away free.
They
round
do
them.
give them away, and Everton tops. They give them away around here. And I had them on my desk, and I came in multiple times to the office, and someone had put them in the bin. That was just.
To be fair, though, he's going to have to replace this soon the way things are going, isn't
Do you know what? Jurgen might get the sack, and
Yeah.
then that would be it. He'd be down here all the time. I'd be worried for him.
Yeah.
He's, maybe it's a job for life. Do you think for Jurgen, Sam?
He'd have to do a lot wrong, wouldn't he?
He would.
He is
would.
doing, though.
That's so true.
I was saying, wasn't I? What could I go for if a hat doesn't fit me and I'm bald? And Ray said maybe a balaclava.
Right, okay, yeah.
That's a good one.
I
Yeah.
think that's a good one.
Well, you know, energy crisis and all that.
That is, yeah. So Sam, tell us about
Yes.
the message trust,
Sorry,
mate.
that was
Tell us-
awful. I got as far as Manchester, and that was it.
That's fine. That's fine. Tell us a bit about that message, and for people, not everyone will have heard of the message trust, but tell us a bit about who they are, what they do, and your role there.
Okay.
This feels like a job. A job
Well,
interview.
Message is it's a charity. It's been going for 30 years. Started in Manchester and really was focused on Manchester for the first, 15, 20 years before it began to branch out all over the UK and now the world. We really focus on a couple of different things. We're great at creative mission, these kind of bands of young evangelists that go into schools telling young people about Jesus. We do something phenomenal called Eden, where we move people into disadvantaged communities to share the love of God and strengthen the local church. And that really has been my life. So I can tell you more about that in a bit. We do some work in prisons up and down the country. We work also on these massive double-decker buses that are like mobile youth centres. All sorts of amazing stuff. Yeah.
And Tao's saying Community Groceries, which we will get onto later as well.
Well, yeah, that's a little bit something called
Yes.
Community Groceries, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? It is amazing. So tell us then, I guess, first of all, and there's a connection for me here as well, because I first moved to Netherton to be part of an Eden team, which is something that's been an idea and a vision that's been born out of the Message Trust. And they've been planting teams for, 25 years? Could it be as long as that?
This year is 25 years.
25. Wow.
Yeah.
And so tell us, that's how you first ended up in Manchester, wasn't it? So
No, that's actually not the story.
okay. Oh.
No, I actually moved to Manchester from the
Sorry
Midlands.
about that.
You've done your
I've done
so
deep
well.
research here.
I moved to Manchester because my dad got a new job. So I started in Manchester when I was 12 years old.
Wow.
I came across the message because I heard about this band that were putting on a gig. So like as a youth, age 13, I went and saw the Worldwide Message Tribe, which was really where the message began with this kind of band that went into schools. But so I saw the Worldwide Message Tribe, which really kind of came out of the Manchester music scene. You know, at that time, places like the Hacienda in Manchester were really where the home of rave in the UK was. And so the message began this band, the Worldwide Message Tribe, as a kind of response to what was going on in the city. Could they do a Christian version of like the rave and rap culture of Manchester?
Wow.
Which sounds horrendous when you add that and you put in Christian stuff with it. It's a recipe for absolute carnage.
Yeah.
But it kind of was a success. So actually that was the first time. And then I suppose...
It was a massive success, wasn't it?
Huge.
Like, it wasn't like... And for me, it's almost like proof of
Yeah.
existence of Jesus, because it was that Andy Hawthorne, who heads up the message, was like a rapper in the band, wasn't he? And he would just kind of shout at people in like...
Yeah, they called him the Cookie Monster because he couldn't rap or sing. He just made a ruh down the microphone like this, rub-a-dub-dub kind of sound. And yeah, but it works. And what's beautiful is that actually they were probably bigger outside of Manchester, even though they were focused on the schools in Manchester. They would sometimes do gigs all over the world, and at one point they were so huge in the US. You know, they were having record contracts from Universal and
Wow.
Sony, and people like that came and visited, and they hit, I think, #1 in the US charts, in the Christian charts, which I know is a different thing altogether. And they won Dove Awards and various things. It really was quite like a move, really, of God, I think, in the kind of late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so that...
Sorry.
Go on.
I was just going to say, we used to take a youth group from our church on a Sunday night once a month to see them in Manchester.
To Planet Life.
Yeah.
That was a staple for me growing
I
up.
can remember one night we were coming home, we were in like a 17-seater minibus, and they all wanted McDonald's, obviously. So we had to park the minibus because the McDonald's had shut, but the drive-through was open. So we parked the minibus and 15 of us walked through the drive-through.
Nice.
We all went to the window, ordered our meal, and then walked to the next window and paid, took our food.
Very good. Very good. And so that's where you first heard of Eden, was it, Sam? At one
It would have been at a Planet Life event, right?
Yeah.
So in 1997, I would have been a young adult, probably in my late teens. I was at one of these kind of Planet Life events, and I heard about them. Some young radical guys that were moving into Wythenshawe, at the time #1 most deprived neighbourhood in the nation. Out of 32,000 different neighbourhoods, it was the worst of places. And there was about 30 young adults moving in there, taking these boarded up houses, doing them up, and beginning to sort of serve on the streets. And I remember being absolutely captivated by it. And if I'd been old enough, I would have joined the team, but I think I was like 16 at the time, so I couldn't do it. Wow. And waited really until I was old enough to apply to join an Eden team, because that first Eden team then became replicated. You know, there was one then into Salford, which again had a notorious kind of reputation, and the third team in the year 2000 was in Openshaw and on the east of Manchester, and I applied to join that team, and I still live there to this day. Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
Cool, man.
And so how many years is that? How many years have you lived in Openshaw?
I'm on 22 years.
22 years.
Yeah. But I tell you what, it's been an absolute roller coaster of adventure. I mean, I remember even though like the first day moving in, I moved in with into a 2-bed terraced house. My dad brought all my belongings in a car and like emptied it into this little tiny house, living with a guy I'd never met before, and actually really being aware of all the neighbours admiring all the kind of nice fancy possessions that we were bringing into the house.
That's what we've been doing at Allan's bar tonight, to be fair.
And I moved in next to this an Irish alcoholic to one side, and then the other side, a house was full of sex workers, a family of sex workers, a grandma, a mother, and a daughter that were all sex chatline operatives.
Wow.
Working from home, and that would be hilarious. You know, you'd be around there for having your tea, And then the phone would ring and I'd scarper. You know, you did not want to be there for that. Just that, I'll only be fine. I don't care how many minutes you are. I'm off. See you later.
This was you as like a 18, 19, 20-year-old lad.
That's right. Yeah.
Moved into Manchester.
I tell you what, there was things I experienced there that I can't ever unsee those moments.
Yeah.
And my neighbour, we got to know her very, very well over the years. Really like the matriarch of the estate. And I remember she invited me to her daughter's 21st birthday party above the roughest pub in our estate called CK's. And it was in this kind of conference room upstairs. I was just married and you know, there with my lovely, innocent Christian wife. And we just helped ourselves to the buffet. And then the music changed up and in walked a copper. But that was no copper. And he started taking all his clothes off, and I'm like, what do I do here? You know, what do I do here? And he'd got down to his tighty whities, and I was like, quick, and we disappeared down the fire escape, you know, to try to avoid seeing things that we couldn't unsee, you know.
Wow.
The special days.
Yeah. And I think, I guess for people watching who maybe aren't Christians or maybe unsure or whatever, that kind of might seem madness. Like that Christians would, like, I guess a community that's like struggling and would purposely choose to live there to make, you know, to make a difference. Like what would it be that would kind of inspire that move? Like what would it be? I guess in a sense I know the answer and it's a leading question, but I know that.
Tell me the answer, Tom.
No, I don't. Well,
I don't know what you're getting at.
Yeah. You can say what you say, and then maybe afterwards I'll say something wrong. But that sense of what was it about your faith?
Yeah,
that was a faith decision. Hey,
yeah,
because that's not just attending church on a Sunday, like, and going through the motions. There's a real difference in your life because you're a Christian. Yeah. And because you made that decision. So where's that motivated from?
Yeah, and that isn't motivated by years of going to church. You know, I went to church my entire life, got great memories of church as a kid, but it's not even in regular attendance that ever makes that a thing. It was when I was in my late teens that I really encountered God. And I felt like God say, I love you, I'm for you. Now also hear my love for the world and actually begin to follow the example of Jesus. And that's what's amazing about Jesus. Jesus is God's only son. He doesn't start when he comes out of the womb of Mary. Jesus has been around since the beginning of time. But actually he chooses to come to earth to become like us, to make a difference. We call it the incarnation. Let's not get into that. But it's the idea that Jesus would leave the glories of heaven to come to a messed up world to bring an answer and to make a difference.
Yeah.
And I feel like as I came to know Jesus, as I came to realize that he was the one who'd come to save me, that I was to kind of join his mission, to be part of the plans of God and to help make a difference in the world, follow the inspiration of Christ and make a difference with my life. That's really what has kind of motivated me since I really came to know who Jesus was.
Wow. And I think that's like a lot of people have had experience of Christians that maybe haven't been so good, like not overly positive, but then to hear like of Christians that I guess put their faith on the line and are taking that position that God's like loves people. And so there's people in this world who've fallen on difficult times or whatever, and that actually there's something about God in each person. There's like this, what Christians would call the image of God, like imprinted on each person, that every person is valuable, and that actually Christians, if we take our faith seriously, then we've got to do something about that.
So true, mate.
And I'm not sure, like maybe don't always get that right, but have a good go.
Yeah, and it makes me sad. I don't know what you think, Tom, but it makes me sad when if you were to ask the world what they think of the church, what they think about Christians, the first thing they wouldn't say is that we're really loving. And often our reputation is, you know, you're more like to call them a hypocrite, or you're more like to call them something negative.
Yeah.
And I think, man, if we've got a loving God, surely we should be like the God we love.
Yeah.
You know, surely we should be becoming even more like him on a regular basis. You know what I mean? It should begin to be displayed in our life. And it makes me wonder whether people have really encountered God, if they've met him.
Yeah. And I think I was at Elijah's football this Friday. when was it? Sunday morning. So Sunday mornings for me now, because I'm trying to be a good dad. And if you ask my son, I'm a minister. If I ask my son, where do you want to be on Sunday morning? Do you want to be at church at the football? What do you think he says, Steve?
Football.
Football. He does say football.
I'm the
Naughty
same.
little scamp. Yeah, I wondered why you haven't been in church for a while. You don't even like football that much.
No. Yeah.
But I'm trying to be a good dad and do both things. And I've joined a footy team, and then Elijah's joined the footy team, and he's on a Sunday. So we go to the match before, and then we rush to church. And some of the dads on the footy team have got a Mark who watches this, but they kind of don't know what to do because a minister, it's a weird job, innit?
Yeah.
It's like when you tell people you're a minister, it's like you told them you've got COVID, like the bad kind. But I've gone to this last Sunday, and I've got to really rein it in because I find myself on the touchline like just shouting, not like rude, not like rude. I'm not swearing.
Not Tony Vino shouting.
No, not Tony, like not filthy Tony
No.
Vino mouth. But I'm shouting things. And then this last Sunday, the ref came over to our manager and pointed me out and said, and asked, could you keep him quiet? And so now the rest of the dads, when I went to training this week, they were just loving it. They just found that amazing.
So
that
good.
the minister.
Because where I'm sat here, it looks like there's a halo above your head. But actually, it's moving further away.
It is moving further away. But that's when I come to training on. They're just like loving that. They're loving that the minister's shouting, and I do feel bad about that. But I think sometimes my life's definitely not perfect, and I'm hoping for that. There's something about me still that would look Jesus-like, but also what I sometimes think is the fact that I mess up, but that there's still that sense that God loves me and can work with me and work through me. I'm hoping that can be a good demonstration as well.
We're a work in progress, aren't we?
I hope so.
I mean, I used to run a local football team for my neighbourhood. We were amazing, actually. I just looked out one year. We did it for years and we were rubbish. But one year I managed to pick up a guy that used to play at Man City, a kid that had played at Bolton Wanderers. Wow. I had the goalkeeper that played for a team called Main Road, which is a feeder team for Man City.
Wow.
And I had this incredible spine of a team. And occasionally, if our amazing goalkeeper had a match somewhere else, I had to fill in. So I put the fat lad with the gloves on in net. And I went up for a high ball at a corner, and this forward came straight through me, absolutely splattered me on the floor. But I caught the ball. It was my crowning glory. But I was so angry that I ran with the ball, and when you try and do a goal kick but try and follow through into the man. Yeah. And I kicked this guy over.
Wow.
And it suddenly all begins to erupt. And this referee comes over and he said, "Are you the Christian manager?"
Oh, that's brutal, that, isn't it?
He said, "Come here." And he said, "Are you the Christian manager?" I said, I am the one, yes.
I am he.
He said.
He didn't say, what would Jesus do?
If only he had done. Yeah. Anyway, he gave me this almighty telling off. And then he said, "I want you to get your team over right now and apologise to each one of them, or I'll send you off." And it was like he's disciplining me there on the pitch. Yeah. But we are a work in progress. Yeah. I make mistakes all the time. Yeah. But that's what's great about God. He's like so gracious, so loving that he wants to continue to perfect us and make us good. But ultimately, he wants to turn us out towards helping other people, doesn't he?
Yeah. And I think that thing, I remember another lad who I knew who was coaching a team, and he was a Christian, and he was like trying super hard to be a great example, which is that's a good thing, isn't it? And I think as Christians are not getting into that at all. But I remember he said that one training session, he ended up taking out, this lad was doing his head in the team, really doing his head in. So he ended up 2-footing him and then getting into a bit of a scuffle with him.
No.
And he went away from it afterwards just thinking, I've blown it. I've blown it with these lads. And he kind of at a later date got them all together and just like sort of was a bit devastated, heartbroken. Just, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for the way I've behaved. And he actually, one of the lads in the team later came to him and said, that was the moment for me when I was interested in your faith, because previous to that, I thought this lad is so unrelatable to me and what I'm all about. But the fact that the example he was setting was like seeking forgiveness and trying to make things right and all that. And that's just a beautiful thing as well, isn't it?
I had this I used to do training every week, and sometimes we'd have like little practice matches against other teams and all that lot. And we had this one particular time when there'd been a bit of an incident, and then this lad ran at me, jumped on my back, and punched me in the face from behind. And
Classic.
I want to be someone who's absolutely full of the joy of the Lord and full of peace, and I just brush it off Jesus style and it doesn't bother me. But I lost it in that moment, and I remember like winding up this like uppercut as players came like rushing in, and one lad just held my arm and he said right in my face, I remember, he said to me, "You've got too much to lose." And in that moment, he stepped in to protect me. He knew that I was a minister at the time as well. So, I was just thinking, oh my goodness, how many mistakes do I make?
Yeah.
But I'm a minister here, and he said he just knew I had too much to lose if I made a mistake here. I just remember feeling so incredibly embarrassed, but also so like overwhelmed that they knew there was something precious about my faith and trying to be a good person and trying to be like Jesus, and I was throwing it all away in that moment, and that was a precious moment.
So then let's talk a little bit then about groceries and stuff. Is that all right to
segue to groceries?
Do you know what?
That was a real natural thing.
Yeah,
Tom.
really, no one noticed.
Yeah.
So the message been doing all this the stuff with Eden. They're doing all the mission creative stuff and prisons work, and that's just been fantastic in Manchester, but around the UK and other countries. But then suddenly it's like you and Andy have had like gone mad, and suddenly it's like you're starting your own chain of Aldi or something. Like what's happened? What's going on?
Well,
what's that got to do with anything?
No,
come on.
It all makes perfect sense, Tom. I don't know how you'd bring that up as a suggestion that there was anything kind of.
Has Andy got so old that he's lost the plot and now you're starting groceries? That's
That's
happens?
what most people are saying. However, in the first lockdown, I began to be really concerned about hungry kids.
Okay.
Before Marcus Rashford made it cool, I was really concerned about the plight of kids that would have had access to free school meals that suddenly were going without. And I joined a bunch of people and created this thing called the Lockdown Hunger Project, which tried to get churches to partner with local schools to provide meals for those kids that were at risk of going without food. And we worked on this national campaign. We distributed over 4.2 million meals to hungry kids.
4.2 million meals
In that first lockdown. I mean, It's continued on in different forms, but we began to deliver stuff locally in Wythenshawe. We probably distributed 60,000 meals on the estate, and felt that, was it good to us to continue to give out bags of food, or was there another way, and a better way, a more dignified way that we could continue to support families in the neighbourhood that might need extra help? What is the bridge between a food bank and a supermarket? My concern is, when I was a kid, there was a real stigma around kids that may have been in care or Bernardo's kids. And actually, what is the stigma now on young people that have got no money is that they become food bank kids. I was thinking, what's the most dignified way that we can continue to provide help? But that doesn't mean you have to rely on a food bank. What fills the gap between a food bank and a supermarket? Anyway, we came up with this idea of a community grocery where you get to be a member and pay, and you get to pay for your food, but everything's subsidised, and we utilise all that kind of surplus food, which would have gone into landfill, that we get from supermarkets, stick it on the shelves and enable people to feed themselves and food not go into the bin. And so really we began to create these amazing shops. And Tom, they look freaking awesome. They look like farm shops. They are absolutely brilliant. We make sure there's brilliant, high quality, fresh fruit and veg, good quality produce that you can choose what you want. And again, choice for me is so important, isn't it? Actually, not just I can get to choose when I come. I can choose the food that I like, my kids like to eat, that I know how to cook. And that for me is so important. Instead of just a bag of stuff I've chosen, which probably contains kidney beans and spaghetti hoops or ravioli, actually I'm able to choose the stuff that I really love. And that for me is bringing choice is the most dignified approach to poverty alleviation and making a difference to those who really need help.
And how many of these groceries? I know the first one started in Wythenshawe. How many of these groceries are there now?
So we've been going 2 years for the one in Wythenshawe, and last week we planted our 19th. In
19th.
Stoke-on-Trent. Yeah.
Stoke.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
19. It's just incredible. And so I know, like, this has become such a massive part of what the message does. And at Emmanuel, we've got ourselves, Sam hooked us up very kindly, and we've got ourselves a community grocery in the garage in our church. And I've got to say, it's just been a game changer. Like, it's just been so good.
Yeah.
And we've just got a great team of volunteers in there, people from the church, people from the community who want to get stuck in and give a bit back, and seeing that people are struggling and just want to help make life a bit easier. And just the stories that starting to come through of just the difference that it's making. And so I think of Kristen, who came to church a couple of Sundays ago. Were you there that week, Steve?
Yeah,
Were you watching the football that morning? No, you
no,
were there.
that's one of the weeks I came.
Good man. Good man. Well done.
Once a month I try and pop along.
It's noted. No. But so Kristen came and she got up and she said, she'd been coming to the grocery for, since it had opened, and each week it enabled her to save some money. And with that money, she'd been able to buy herself. She's a single mum. She's had some real difficulties, just been through all sorts of horrendous, tough stuff. And with the money she saved, she's been able to buy one of these electric scooters so her and her daughter, Poppy, can get around. But also she's been able to start a little business on the side, and she's just starting to develop that. And she came down on the Sunday and just said, we asked her up just to come and share a bit of a story, and she was really keen to do that. And so she got up and then she just said, her experience of church and Christians previously had just been, there was no care, no love, like, which is heartbreaking that would be said of Christians. But she said, like, in the grocery, and she'd seen that Christians were willing to, put their money where their mouth was, really, and to do something that makes a difference. And for her, that was helping her to rebuild her faith. And I don't say that to big up our church, because we get loads wrong all the time, slightly less when Alan's on holiday, but we get loads wrong. But that's just this is enabling this beautiful thing, like you were talking before, of like that God would want us as Christians to do something to demonstrate that love, and the groceries is just a great way to make that happen. So I can't big it up enough.
I love it. And it's those stories that are the game changer for me. It just brings me so much joy to see that. And actually, when I go to groceries, often I won't be put behind the till. I'll often get to stand on the door and welcome people in, or say goodbye to people as they leave. And I'll often ask them about what they've experienced. And the amount of times you'll hear people say things like, "Oh, I really feel peaceful here," or
"Wow,"
or I feel joy in this place," or whatever. And even like the guy from the BBC who came, and he was doing like a BBC morning program about it. And his final remark was, "This is a place of hope."
Wow.
Yeah, it is. And actually, I remember going meeting one guy, and he said, "I'm not going to come shopping today, but can I sit in the corner of the shop?" This is a Muslim old man who just wanted to sit on a stool in the corner of the shop. And I thought, that's a bit odd. Like, why do you want to come and sit in our shop? And he said, because I just feel different when I'm here. I feel hopeful, or I feel like this is a place of peace. And I'm like, that's just brilliant.
Wow.
This is just a shop, but it's more than a shop, because actually it isn't just food on the shelves. There's so much wrapped around it, like proper care. We're going to help people journey out of poverty. We're going to try and put you on some courses that'll help you with your benefits, or help you get a job, or work out your debt, whatever might be the issue. And a whole load of people that just want to love you and try and help you wherever they can. And that's very special for me.
So good. It's so good. And we've got some Tao, who actually works in our grocery. She's saying there's a great atmosphere with loads of staff and volunteers always there to help with any part of your life, just chatting with our community and praying for people. It's amazing to see and to do.
Tao's
Come
amazing,
on, Tao.
isn't she?
She's great, isn't she?
She's a legend.
She's been so good. She's been so good with it. And so, Sam, like coming into like winter, cost of living crisis and all that, like I heard you speak about this a little bit recently, and what's the picture looking like coming into winter for people and going forward? Because sadly, the picture isn't looking better currently, is it?
It's heartbreaking.
And I know you wouldn't be political, but we've got this Tory government. They're killing us, aren't they, Sam?
Oh, look at you trying to rescue it. Your people, Tom.
Yeah, come on. But it don't look any brighter currently, does it, from that perspective? No. But like, what's the picture looking like coming forward?
You know, I feel like a prophet of doom though when I say it, because it's such a heavy picture.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at inflation across the board now, about 12%. And they're saying that inflation on food is likely to increase to 20% by next Easter. Wow. Each of us has probably faced a fuel increase in this month alone. Some people are seeing double, some people are seeing quadruple the prices. And yes, we've got these little top-ups that are going to help us. But the net loss for those people on universal credit is huge. You know, they talk about people on universal credit are going to gain 1,200 quid this year. Well, last year, they lost, when they took the top up on universal credit from families, they lost £1,000 there. Then if you add on the increase in fuel prices, the net loss for families on universal credit is around £2,400 in the next year.
Wow.
And so it's massive, Tom. It's absolutely huge and devastating. And we've got a real winter of discontent ahead. I was at a meeting yesterday in London with a bunch of senior people talking about the future, and a very, very senior person from the government.
Are you going to name him or not?
No, I don't think I can.
Shall I just do it? Because you no.
Said they're looking at 5 years austerity, 5 years of potential struggle. It's heartbreaking. It really is. And actually, let's rewind and go back to the pandemic. We had over 3 million kids living in poverty. And that figure is set to increase by 500 kids just this year alone. Because of the cost of living increases, 1.5 million people fall under the poverty line that have never been considered poor before. And these are people that don't know how to access services, that haven't been used to the benefits system. And I just wonder just how many people are going to be crushed this winter. We've got to do something about it, Tom.
Yeah.
And just ruined the program, haven't I?
No. It's and I think that's what like our faith leads us to have to respond. If it doesn't, then it's no use to anyone. I don't think that's you know, it's your faith that caused you to move to Manchester all those years ago and to be doing, you know, what you're doing now, which I imagine is hard graft, and the amount of energy and that it takes to pull a network of groceries together and to learn on the fly how to do food all of a sudden. I mean, you just wouldn't have imagined you'd be doing that a few years ago.
Some people say things like, you know, what's God doing about it? You know, if God sees the suffering that we've got, why hasn't he done anything about it? And actually, I believe he has done something about it. It's called the church.
Wow.
It's whether the church realise it's their job. It's our job to step up, Tom, and do something about it, to see the needs around us, to see the suffering in the world, and start to put, like you said, put our money where our mouth is and start to act. That's really important for me.
Definitely. And so we've got some people here in the chat, and you know, even let's see, Chris is saying, you know, she'd love to get involved in the grocery. You know, she's teaching, but be involved in the school holidays, and like
amazing.
How do people get involved, Sam, with that kind of, and also, you know, like for us, be people who maybe don't attend church on a regular basis, but who just, and for me, I'd even put this something down to God as well. That's something within all of us, I think, when we see injustice and we go, that's not right. Yeah. That's not right for me. I just claim it all. I just say that's God doing something within us that says, you know, when we see people struggling, you know, and people who just aren't, who need help, and we respond by going, this isn't right. That kind of almost like an anger at times, isn't it? That you think, I've got to do something about it. You know, how can people who are watching tonight or seeing this get involved maybe with what the message are doing and with groceries, or, you know, how might they help?
Well, you can go to our website, www.communitygrocery.org, and you can find out a load of information there. And actually, it's what I would say, though, is work out where you are and have a look at who's around. It isn't just the Message Trust with Community Groceries. There are some phenomenal programs and initiatives in communities up and down the country. It's time to step up. If you've got spare cash, give it. If you've got spare time, give it. you know, if you've got some kind of gift or some kind of, I don't know, whatever it might be, have a look at what you've got in your life and see how you can spend it on behalf of somebody other than yourself. I think that's the key thing.
Love it. Love it. So good.
Thanks,
so
man.
good. Fantastic. Right. Steve,
Yes.
it's time for a bit of Finnegan's Fortunes, I think.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
And when we play Finnegan's Fortunes, you get chance, Sam, to win some merch. Let me see, what have we got?
That'll be church merch, mate.
That'll be church
merch.
So I don't know. Have a little look behind you, Sam. Have a little look and see what you've got there. Anything that take your fancy.
Well, I can have any of this.
You can have anything. In fact, I'll spread anything in the bar, you know, anything here that you fancy. If you can win Finnegan's Fortunes tonight and you can get it in your car, you can take it with you back to Manchester.
Gosh, there's so much tat here. Do I have to have something?
The way it works is basically if people leave stuff in the church, it makes its way here.
Oh, okay.
And it's lost. It's essentially the
lost
church lost property.
That's so good.
So this is what. So you've got the teddy bear. The kids would love that, wouldn't they?
Yes.
The stop.
It's the church lost property that people are too ashamed to come and ask for it back.
Who brought a teddy that big to church?
Do you know what? And it's not the only one we've got at our church. There are several others. I don't know what it is, but people think, you know, I've got this massive teddy that I've got no use for anymore. Surely the church would love that.
How about
It's
this?
like,
Look
oh,
at this with
look at
actual
that.
coins in. He's not going
There
to
you
want
go.
this to go. That's his like life savings right
What's
there.
in there? Is it? That's his.
There's cash.
That's to cover the heating bill for the winter.
think there's
Sam, that can be yours if you win tonight.
Great.
So
Let's do it.
let's do it. Let's go and play some Finnegan's Fortunes. Let's have a look. This is the point where we need you to join in at home, okay? So we've asked 100 people, Sam, and I've just gone random this week, a random idea. We've asked 100 people. What did we ask them? We asked them to name a song with the word love in the title.
Oh, that's so much easier than the question I
What did
got.
you get?
Oh, I can't remember. What would you find at a school?
What would you find at
Yeah.
school? You barely went to school, so you didn't know. What
Well, I
would you
kept saying chalk and things like
Chalk,
that, but we
yeah.
don't have them now.
So, if you're at home and you want to help Sam out because he's looking terrified, like he couldn't think of a thing,
Is it Christian songs? Because there's thousands of
No,
them.
no, there's no. I'm just going to give you a heads up. There's no Christian songs
Right,
on the
okay.
list. That's
Gonna say we'll be here till next.
that's it. That's not a
Sunday.
thing. So, if you can sell us at home any songs that have the word love in the title, okay. Sam, is anything coming to mind? I feel like we've gone from
Yeah.
very deep
Yeah.
to.
Yeah,
I feel like
it's another one of Tom's U-turns.
I feel like maybe I'm working out that Allan was more crucial to this whole thing staying on the tracks than I realised.
What are you trying to say?
Steve,
Sacked.
Steve,
After my first gig.
I feel like I've been very
It's like being on a
clunky.
cruise ship again.
Yeah, that's
Bringing
it.
back bad memories for me, this.
So I did try to leave, but we locked the door.
Yeah, I've got to stay here for 4 days now before I can go home.
Just
A
with
lot
Sam
of people
looking
that
at you
didn't like
awkwardly.
me.
That was the best. That's Sam. That's what Steve did. He did stand-up comedy. He was going to
Yeah.
take over the cruise market.
Oh.
Which is very lucrative. There's a lot
It
of money
was,
in
yeah.
cruises,
Yeah.
and so he had the one gig as a little trial. Let's see how you get on.
Yeah. Just to set the scene, the boat set off at 5 o'clock and they put me on at 7 o'clock, so nobody came.
Oh.
Oh,
So it was a 1,000-seat theatre and I could see 20 people, and 6 of those were kids.
No.
So they cancelled. Well, I did another show later that night, but then they cancelled my other one later in the week. So I was stuck on a boat for 4 days then. I just wanted to go home.
Where were you though? You know, did you get to enjoy the cruise, or
Well, we kind of decided to in the end, yeah.
did you just
Yeah.
have to live with your shame for the day?
Well, I had a few people actually commented that they had enjoyed it, but I don't know whether they meant it or they just felt sorry for me.
oh,
Oh.
that's the worst,
But,
isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
A pity. Like,
Although one guy asked me for a selfie. But I keep searching Facebook to say, this is
what-
the sad loser, the worst comedian I've ever heard. But I haven't found him yet.
what I love is that you described is that even though it's dark, 1,000-seater theatre, he couldn't really see anyone. He said there was still something about your senses which could tell when people were
Yeah.
leaving.
You could still hear people heading for the exit, though,
no.
even though you couldn't see them.
Wow.
But anyway,
How did we get on?
I'm
to
not
that?
bitter about that.
No. So
One
that's
bit.
not. So that was the end of those cruises for the moment. When
Yeah,
it's the...
well, probably forever, I imagine.
Let's talk about love.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about love.
Yeah.
Is that your first answer?
Have you got your first? We were just filling there
were
to give
you?
you
Yeah, we
time.
were
Did
just-
you
Oh,
see?
yeah.
I was
mean,
ready. I was
we're
ready
on-
within the first
We're
minute.
on
Were
your
you?
side because we're desperate to get rid of
Celine
all this.
Dion, Colour of My Love.
Colour of My Love, Celine Dion.
Is that a thing?
Wow,
Or is
Is that even a song?
it is now.
I mean,
I did like a bit of Celine.
did
back
you?
in
I
the
was
day.
going to say
Somebody had to.
the fact that your mind ran to Celine Dion
Oh,
straight
my
out the
days.
bat.
She's,
Wow.
I actually saw Celine. My Emma loves Celine
I'll
Dion.
tell you what, you get out to some gigs, you don't
I
you?
just, yeah,
Minister's
Wow.
Pay again.
that's it. Minister's Pay.
Yeah.
Celine Dion. I went to see with Emma, and I've got to be honest, it was horrendous. She loved it, and everyone around. It was like everyone was crying. It was a weird, and I can cry. I'm partial to it, but
Right.
not in that setting.
Yeah.
No.
It was yeah.
Right.
So what was the
Is it Colour of My Love? Celine Dion.
Celine Dion Colour of My Love?
Your Emma will tell you if that's real.
Survey says Colour
No
of My
chance.
Love.
Is that it?
No,
Oh no.
sorry, mate. No luck. No luck. Do you want me? Have you got another one ready to go, or do you want me to?
Tina Turner.
Wow,
Let's talk about
this
love.
is not getting any better, is it? Celine Dion gone to Tina Turner.
Yeah.
Let's talk about love. How does that go?
No, what's love got to do with it?
What's
What's
yeah.
love got to do
Oh,
with it?
Well, yeah.
Is that
We're
Tina
getting a bit-
Turner, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it on one
I
of the
think I
Mad
just
Max
gave you
films?
another Celine Dion track
Yeah.
with Let's Talk About Love. But I don't want to look like a...
The Colour of Love. Emma says it's an album.
Oh, it's an
album
album.
title. Never mind.
Didn't have a title track
It's the
by
album
the
name.
same name.
Yeah.
No.
Okay,
Right.
right. Well, what did you go for that time? Tina Turner.
Tina Turner, Let's Talk.
Okay, let's
No,
see.
what was it? Yeah.
Let's.
You see, if you've had 6 questions on Celine Dion, obviously he knows his stuff.
He does, doesn't he? Let's see. Next one. Is it there? It's not there, mate.
Tell you what, this is making me feel good because at least I did get a couple right.
So, Sam, I'm going to go to the comments because
Yes.
I'm feeling bad for you.
Okay. Like, who is this moron?
No. I mean,
All you need is love. Surely that's up there.
all you need is love.
Yeah.
That's your suggestion, is it?
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. A Million Love Songs, Debbie said. Ray said, love is a battlefield. I don't know that one. Love is easy, apparently. Andy Campsell, all you need is love.
See?
Peter Porter, you give love a bad name. That's a good one, isn't it? Who's that? Is that
You give
Bon
love.
Jovi.
yeah, Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Come on.
Struck to the heart. Love is all around us from Ray. Okay, there's a selection there, Sam. What are you feeling? We need this one to be right. We need this one.
Ooh, I like that Million Love Songs.
A Million Love Songs. Okay. A Million Love Songs, baby. Is that fake, that?
Has anybody ever just got 3 wrong and not got an answer before? This could be a historic moment. A
This
bit
could
like when
be.
I brought Win yesterday having a shave.
That's... You're still going on about that. Did that actually happen? Or was that...
That is true. Yeah.
That was one of your jokes where I couldn't tell if it was a joke or if it was real.
No. Well, most of my jokes are like
We were
that.
all waiting for the punchline.
We
weren't
were.
Yeah. No, it was actually, yeah.
Some of your jokes fire. Like I'm there, I'm laughing. Then sometimes you say them and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's
don't
like
know.
that. He's sort of like, how long shall I stand there waiting? People to work this out. Or do they have worked it out and
Yeah.
they're just not laughing?
You waited a while on that cruise ship.
Yeah. I'm still there in my head.
Oh, okay. Moving on. So you said
A Million Love Songs.
A Million Love Songs. Let's see. Our survey says.
Oh,
Do I get to go home now
brutal.
then? Or-
You have to. No, this is just. Do you know what? Shall we see what was up there? Because I think you're going to
well, we
feel.
have to now.
You're going to feel like shout us what people have. Let's see. So top 6, number 6. I can't believe you didn't get any. Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
Ooh, Queen.
Do you know that one?
No.
Oh, Queen. Big one. Crazy Little Thing Called Love. At 5, Bleeding Love.
Never heard of it.
I've never heard of that. Who's that?
She's
Which 100 people did you ask?
Yeah, teenagers outside school.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's not always 100 people. Steve noticed this. Sometimes it doesn't
Yeah.
add up to 100.
Yeah.
But
That was another thing as well. When I did it, the answers added up to 140 something. I'm like, what is this?
I don't trust this. at
no.
all.
Well, I spend a few hours each week just walking the streets of Netherton, just asking people what their favourite love songs are. And so at 4,
You've only been arrested twice.
that's it. At 4, oh, it's all gone
Oh.
wrong. It's all gone wrong. At 4 was Crazy in Love, Beyonce. Classic.
No.
3, All You Need Is Love.
I think I was even given that.
I
as a
think
little
Yeah.
clue.
lots of people
By me
gave
and
you
Andy
all,
Cancel.
all you
you.
need is love. And 2, Love Me Tender.
Ooh,
Oh,
Is that Elvis?
that's Elvis.
original.
That's a bit rough, that one. And number 1, I Will Always Love You.
Oh,
Should have got that one, I think.
Whitney. Bit of
Whitney, which is classic.
Yeah, yeah.
Or it was Whitney, or what was the other one that sang that one?
I Will Always Love You.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
The country singer.
Dolly.
Dolly Parton.
Oh, right,
That was
okay,
it. She
yeah.
did it first of all, not quite as well, did she? And then she's back in. Okay. Okay.
I hope
good
none
that
of
bit-
these famous people are watching this because you could get a load of
I think we
libelous.
We just
Yeah.
peaked right now, didn't we?
Yeah,
We
like I
just-
say, I think it was the changing gears that threw it for me. I was really enjoying the
Yeah.
conversation, and I just took it down a few notches, and there we are. But
It's like when you did that nativity play at church and somebody just walked in with a Shire horse.
That-
What's
classic.
going on here?
that was early days for you. That was before
that
you.
was our first Christmas
Was
at
it?
Netherton, yeah. And I thought, I love this place. I even started videoing it.
That was one of those things where afterwards you thought we should have really
Did that just happen?
Yeah, we should have
Yeah.
risk assessed that because it was the
Especially when it dropped a load of massive bombs right down the middle of the
yeah,
aisle.
it
yeah.
did. You couldn't have timed that better,
No,
could you?
no, it was almost as good as my incident yesterday morning.
Yeah. The bit that was the worst was the fella who brought the horse and just came and scooped it up with his bare hands.
Picked it up, yeah, put it in a bucket. Well, that's going on his roses.
That's final bit, Sam. You've been a good sport, mate. But
Thank
this
you.
is the bit. This is the bit that it could all go wrong.
Oh,
It could all go wrong.
You mean it already hasn't?
No, we're going to tell you. We're going to get you to tell us a story,
yeah,
mate.
yeah.
And it's a story basically that all our patrons at home,
Yeah.
they're going to listen to your story.
You've got patrons.
Yeah, they're all there.
Don't you have
worry.
to pay to be a patron?
Oh,
Do people pay to watch this?
I think they're paying. I think they're
They're
paying. For
paying.
Yeah, they're paying, yeah. Well, not in monetary terms.
one way or another, they're
Yeah.
paying. And so
Yeah.
you tell us a story, Sam. You live in Manchester, so already you're starting a little bit behind. But you're going to tell us a story, and if it's a good one, mate, I'll tell you what's going to happen.
Get him on the wall, lad.
You're going to go on the wall,
Oh,
on our members list. Here.
wow.
There's some great names up there, some real
Do
good
it,
ones. And Steve's up there as well.
Yeah, some
And so-
great names and me.
And Steve. So if you get up there, mate, that's it. Lifetime membership to Finnegan's. You can come here whenever you want.
Yeah.
You can come and use the hot tub.
Oh,
You can come and watch the footy. You can play a game of pool, So it's decent, that.
that's a
And
price.
just to say, if you're struggling and you're not sure whether you're going to quite, reach the mark, just drop the name of that Tory MP in who
That's
was at
it.
that meeting yesterday.
And you'll be
That'll
there.
guarantee it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Tom,
so,
Tom Grant.
that's it.
Yeah, Tim Brown.
Tim Brown.
He's good, him.
Tim
And
Brown
so-
MP.
Yeah. Could be, couldn't I?
Only matter of time.
Yeah. And so, but sadly, if it doesn't go well for you, mate, then
You're bad, lad.
you're going to end up getting barred and we have to throw you out. And that would be it.
Okay.
I'd never be able to talk to you again. It would be that brutal.
No
You never
pressure.
promised
don't
that
feel,
to me.
Don't feel the pressure on this one. And so
Yeah.
I'll hand over to you, mate. Go
Well,
for it.
I suppose I've been working in my community for like forever. And I have a special relationship with people that are really suffering with addictions. And I sort of work with these guys to try and bring them to a better place and hopefully get them to a place of recovery. And I was working with a guy who used to sometimes sleep in on the golf course in a bunker, used to sleep in an abandoned car, sometimes used to sleep in a shed at the bottom of someone's garden, and sometimes he'd sleep in the porchway of my home, which was a bit of a pain when you'd get home from church and you'd find a man sleeping in your porch. And so I was desperate to help this guy who was really, really suffering with addiction. And so I had to find him a rehab. And so to get him in a rehab, I had to ring up every morning at 8 o'clock, this same rehab place, in order to get him a bed. And in order to get the consistency of seeing him at 8 a.m. every morning, I moved him into my house. Now, I should have asked my wife before I invited him to stay. She came home from work to find this smell of cigarettes in the house. And I'd asked this guy you can do whatever you like, but you can't smoke in the house. And so I went and found him, and he said, no, I've not been smoking. And he'd been smoking out of the bedroom window. That was
Classic
his kind of
move.
thing. Anyway, we rang up every morning for ages to try and get him in this place. And then eventually they said, there's a bed for him, bring him down. And I said, what do we need? What do we need to bring? And they said, nothing. And I said, great, because he hasn't really got anything but the clothes on his back. And I said, do we need any documentation? No. You need nothing. Just bring him down. So on the way to town, I bought him some new pajamas and some, fresh smellies so that he could have a lovely stay. And I was thinking, they'll have him in their rehab for 6 to 12 months and he'll come out clean and it'll be sorted, fixed, all nice and done with. Get to town and I'm literally just got to drop him off at this place. And so I park up on this bit of wasteland, walk around the corner into the rehab place. And I said, oh, this is the guy that you've been expecting. This is my mate. And they said, what are you on about? And I said, no, I rang up this morning, 8 a.m. They said I got a bed for him. And they said, have you got his paperwork? And I said, no. They said, no paperwork. I don't need any paperwork. They said, just come and drop him off. He doesn't need anything. And I begin to recount the story. And they're like, no. Sorry, you'll have to sit him here. You'll have to ring up, get him his benefits sorted, and then we might be able to let him in. So we sit on this telephone for an hour, listening to the same tune. We're on hold, waiting for support. Went round and round and round. And then finally, this lady picks up the phone and we say, we need some help. This is the story. And she said, effectively, computer says no.
Oh.
And I'm like, what? So we have to leave there. And they said they can't take him. So I've got to take this bloke home. I've promised my wife he won't be coming back with us. So I walk back around the corner and I find that my car has been clamped. And some rogue has clamped my vehicle. Now, this is where I begin to lose it. This is where the whole day begins to unravel because I start to think about the massive injustice that I've just faced. It's just not fair. And I began to think about my mate Pete. My mate Pete's a plumber, and he told me this story once about a car being clamped, and he took his tools and his blowtorch, and he blowtorched off the clamp, and he drove off. And it was a brilliant story. And I thought, if only I could get hold of a blowtorch. So I look round, and there's a mechanic's shop right there. So I walk into this place and I said, oh, guys, this is the story. I'm supposed to be helping this homeless guy and this all gone wrong. I've come out, I've been clamped. You don't have a blowtorch, do you? And the guy said, yes, I do.
Wow.
And so I said, I'm going to blowtorch off the clamp. And he went, okay. And he goes, but before I give you the blowtorch, I would just remind you that these guys are rogues. They're terrible. They've taken a picture of your car. If you blowtorch it off, it's going to go badly. Don't do it. And I'm like, please, just give me the blowtorch. He said, please do not do it. So anyway.
What within you thought that you'd be able to smash this blowtorch thing on the car? You just thought, I've seen it done,
mate,
I'll have a go.
Do it. I didn't even care. I didn't even think through the practicalities of how to work a blowtorch. So anyway, so I go over and I find this sign and there's a number on it and I ring the number and out comes this guy in his car and he's like Russian. He looks like a Russian version of Oddjob from 007, James Bond. And he says, £90 cash. And I was like, who keeps £90 of cash on him?
Yeah.
No one does, right? And so I'm like, I begin to like get angry and I'm telling him the story and I'm like, I mean, mate, he's homeless and I'm trying to help him and I begin to freak out. And I said, who's got £90 cash on? I need to pay with my card. And he says, I'll go and get card machine. Drives off another hour.
Wow.
And he finally comes back. And I noticed he's scrabbling around in the boot of his car and I'm up the front. I'm at the front of the vehicle and he's made a mistake because he's left his window wound down and the keys in the ignition. And in that moment, a voice in my head says, take the keys and do a deal. Take the keys and do a deal.
That voice in your head, take the keys, do a deal.
Do a deal. Take the keys and do a deal. Like I'm thinking,
love that.
take the clamp off, you can have the keys back, right? And so I find myself with my hand just leaning on the window, like leaning on the door there with my hand sort of hanging inside. And before long, I find that my hand is touching the keys, just touching the keys. Take the keys, do a deal. So and before I know it, I find myself with my hand out of the car with the keys in. And we almost notice at the same time, me and the Russian odd job. And he he comes over and he goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Take the keys, do a deal." All I could think to say was, "Take the keys and do a deal."
As if that made perfect sense.
Yeah.
Of course. What are you doing? Take the keys, do the deal. That's what's happening.
And he says, "No deal."
Oh.
And so in my mind, I'm thinking, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And he's like right up in my face, and I can't think of anything else to say. And he says, "Give me keys." And I said, "Take the keys, do a deal. Take the keys, do a deal." And he said, "Give me keys." And then in this moment of madness, I said to him, "What if I don't?"
Oh.
Now, in my mind, I'm thinking,
worst game of dealing old.
Yeah, I was going to say.
yeah.
Noel Edmonds popped up.
So he thinks I'm offering him a fight. In that moment, I'm just trying to inquire what might happen next in this scenario. Can we talk about a discussion on various options? And he gets in my face and he says, "I call police." Right? No word of a lie. He then steps back, gets his mobile phone out, dials 999. Now, if you live in my community, 999, ring the cops, they turn up 2 days later.
Yeah.
Right? While he's on the phone to the police, no word of a lie, this flipping 4x4 vehicle drives past, just happens to be driving past at this point. He hangs up 999, runs over, flags over this police 4x4 who drives onto the wasteland, and I'm like, I am in trouble. I'm a minister, a church minister.
This makes me shouting on the footy lines look tame. What were you thinking?
I'm beginning to think of the headlines, church minister, steals cars, all sorts of. Imagine what if the press get hold of this. I'm beginning to think I'm going to lose my job. It's a nightmare. He gets to the cops. I'm trying to get over to the cops first, sort of tell him this story, and he pushes me away and begins to tell the cops about what he's experienced like this. And I've watched so much police camera action that I know what happens here. If you resist arrest, it's going to go really badly. So I rolled up my t-shirt, I rolled up my shirt like this to get my hands ready for the handcuffs, and then this copper comes over, and I'm like, I tried to tell him the story, and I'm telling about my mate, and I'm telling about homelessness, and it's all the massive injustice like this. And I said, and I know what you've got to do. And I kind of put my arms out like, I know what you've got to do. And he goes, "No, mate, just give him the keys." Right, so I'm like, yeah. And then I'll be okay. And he was like, no. So I give the keys to Odd Job, and then
Odd Job.
And then he looks. This copper's off. He's on his way. I'm like, no. Can you please stay? Because I've got to have to pay the fine and all this lot. Can you please stay? Because I think as soon as you go, he's going to kick me head in. Right? And so the cop stays around for another couple of minutes, and he goes, "Who's the guy in the car?" Right. So all along, my mate, who I've come to help, is so ashamed of my behaviour that he's wound himself down in the car to a completely horizontal position like this. He's completely horizontal, and he's playing Christian worship music on full blast, right? So the cop was like, "What's going on?" And occasionally my mate, just to see what's happening, would poke his head up and then go, "Oh no, he's still doing it. Oh no, he's still doing it." And it was just this ridiculous moment as my mate was honestly, it was so incredibly embarrassing, but it all ended okay in the end. There you go.
I just love that you thought you'd take on a Russian gangster.
Yeah.
Just
It
stare
could
him
have
down.
gone wrong.
Take the keys, do a deal.
Give me oil in my clamp.
Oh, nice.
See,
It
that's
was
what
all
you call
worth it.
Nice.
That's what you call a callback, lad,
Yeah,
to the start of the show.
that's impressive. That's a
Yeah.
professional
I
comedian.
haven't said much, but
You saved it up right
quality
to the
not
end.
quantity.
Good man. Good man. Right. So, Sam, do you know what you did? You threw the busies in, but in a slightly kind of negative. Oh, I love it. That people will love that.
Yeah.
In your story, you kind of said, "Okay, I got the police in," but you were like the figure going against them and all. Mate,
I've got many stories that are about the cops.
yeah.
The 5-0 as they come around,
That's
man.
it.
The popo.
Let us know then. Is Sam going to be on the wall or is he going to be barred? Throw it up in the comments. You've got lots of people enjoying the story there, Sam. Let's have a look. Get him on the wall. Pete says, "So funny, got to be on the wall."
To be fair, I bet you've
wall.
never had anyone taking the Russian mafia on.
We've never
until
had
tonight,
anyone
have you?
taking the Russian. And you did a spot on Russian accent there, mate. That's very good. Defo wall. Defo wall.
It's a bit anti-Russia as well, and that's got to work out in my favour.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 Give
He
me
wasn't
your-
called Vladimir, was he?
Definitely.
Yeah.
He had a badge on.
I'm going, yeah, mate, it's overwhelming. Get him on the wall. Get him on the wall. Let's throw him up. I'm going to stick. This is a special moment, mate.
Wow. Do you get to write my name? on
I
that?
write your name. You can tell the
Okay.
ones I've done because it's kind of a left-handed scroll.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go, where should we go? Up here next to me, mate.
I'll be happy next to Joyce, mate.
Uh,
Too late now.
Start now.
what over there?
Under Joyce, but anyway, you can't do it.
I'm putting you at top of the list, mate.
Thank you, pal. Next to that halo.
Capital letters as well. Sam.
Yeah,
Did I
and he
spell that
spelt it
right?
Yeah. Amazing.
It does catch me out.
He's
now and
looking
again.
up.
Did panic for a second. Very good. Very good. All right, Sam, we appreciate you being on tonight, mate. Thank you so much for coming to join us.
My pleasure.
Has it been just an incredible experience for you?
Yeah, I'm hugely disappointed by Alan's lack of attendance.
I know.
Major overpromise, under-deliver.
What was he thinking?
Shambles.
Shambles. But anyway, maybe we'll get you back on when he's here and you can give him some stick about it.
Yeah.
But very good. Right. Anyway, that's time. We're gonna have to. You can ring the bell, Steve,
Oh, thanks.
to say it's time for the end of the evening. For that, that's an honour for you, an
Yeah,
honour and a
tell you what,
privilege.
yeah.
You can
Ring
take that
for a
home if you
pint.
want.
No, you're all right.
Can't give the stuff away in Alan's bar. So, we're not on next week. We've got a 2-week break now, but we might have a special bonus episode with comedian Rob Thomas, not the Christian comedian, the
Right.
one from Bootle. He's not-
Okay.
so we might have
That'll be a short episode.
that. Will be. It's a good one. We've already pre-recorded that, so we might throw that out next week instead. So keep an eye out. But also, once we come back on the 2nd of November, we've got Andy Kind.
Oh,
Have you
yeah.
done a gig with Andy Kind before,
Oh,
Steve?
yeah. I've done several with Andy
Is he
Kine, yeah.
funny?
Yeah, he is funny.
He is
yeah.
quite funny,
Yeah.
is
He
he?
don't pay you very much, like, but he is funny.
We'll get into him about that then.
Yeah.
We can fuming Steve is
I
there.
did a gig with him once at Blackburn.
Yeah.
He invited me to come. I think he paid me 20 quid. And
Did
so
he-
we got there and there was a church and the minister went up and I hadn't been going. I'd only been going a few months. So he said, you can go on first.
Yeah.
So the minister just said, thanks for coming. We've got our first comedian now.
Off
And
you
that
went.
was the build up.
That was the intro.
And then the minister sat right in front of me and just yawned for the 10 minutes that I was on.
Oh,
Yeah.
and £20.
Then Andy went on and smashed it, obviously.
Well,
Oh, but he's all right.
he's all right, is
Yeah,
he? Cheapskate,
he is.
but he's all right.
Yeah.
We'll give him a bit of stick for that. So
Yeah.
Andy Kind's on the 2nd of November. So come and join us then. And also we're going to have a live Christmas special. So there's going to be anyone on the members list can come down for our Christmas special. So Steve,
Wow.
you could
You're
be
going to fit
there.
them all in here.
Well, I think we're going to squeeze in.
Right.
And so everyone can come down for our Christmas special if you're on the members list. We might even have a few comedians that night. So we'll stream that, but also we're going to pack some people in as well. So look out for tickets
I'll
for
see
that
what's
one.
on telly.
See what if you're busy.
See what's on telly, yeah.
Yeah.
I've
All
nothing on.
right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next Wednesday. We won't see you next Wednesday. We'll see you in a few weeks' time
Yeah.
for another Wednesday
Who
night
knows?
at Finnegan's. Who knows if this won't ever happen again, will it? All right. Take care. See you soon and good night.